Alright guys, I'm back and we're ready to do another episode here. We're going to just continue what we did last time. We're going to build on that and start checking things off the list as far as getting this thing complete. This Thunderbird's been just under 3 years. I think March will be 3 years, so we're getting close to the 3 year on this build. And I'm ready for it to be done. So we're just going to go ahead and pick up where we left off. I think the first thing we're going to do is try and get the fuel system to work. My gauge hasn't been working. It just sticks right around the E, and no matter how much gas I put in, it just didn't seem to want to come above E. Well, not no matter how much. I probably never gotten above about a half a tank, but even still at a half a tank, it was just breaking just above the E. So that's not cool. So we're going to start there when we're going to move to the finish up the AC, all right? Well, check it out, guys. Here, let me get you. I don't know. Can you see it? Fuel gauge. Here, let me bring that down a little bit. But you can see we're sitting just under a half. All right, we got it. So, all right. So one of the things that we did, I had to go back underneath there, pull the sending unit out. We brought it up to the bench, tore it apart, looked inside, make sure everything was working correctly. And it was. So through the range of motion, we had pretty consistent readings. The readings were about what we expected. For some reason, that was not jiving with the gas gauge. So we just made a bend in the rod for the float until it matched what was happening. So literally almost all the movement on the gauge is happening from the half mark to the full mark on the float or on the sending unit. So I just bent the rod for the float so that it matched that, and now my gauge works pretty close to where it should. So I just want to make sure I know where E is. That's my main concern on this. I need to know where E is, and it looks like we got it. So yay, we got a win. All right, so let's get on the AC and see where we're at there. All right, so the next step in this process is I don't even know what this is called. I am not an AC guy. Okay, so the next step in the process is getting this condenser mounted. And just looking over here on the car, it looks like there's already going to be an issue because we're custom on this one. And this radiator, instead of being up in here where it would actually be this surface here, would be back up in here, flush with, with this. We're sticking out a good 2 inches. So what we have to figure out now is, here's our bumper holes for mounting the bumper. We're gonna have to measure that bumper to see how much room we have between it and this radiator and make sure we're gonna be able to get that condenser in here. That ought to be fun. All right, so we're gonna take a few measurements here. We're gonna go check the bumper with them, and then we'll let you know. All right, so we've gone through and took some measurements, and so far everything looks like we're going to be just fine. This bumper, if we look here, starts in a little bit and it comes out at an angle like this, and it comes up like pretty high up in here, and so it's obviously going to clear these horns. And we had about 3-inch clearance on this bottom, so which is all we needed. We needed 3 inches, and that gave us an extra inch for clearance. So we should be able to mount that condenser on here. It's just a matter of how. So you come over here to the bench, and we go to the instructions, and we're told we want to go ahead and get our mounting brackets installed. And we already know that these are probably not going to work because we didn't mount the traditional way on these Thunderbirds. So we're going to have to either do some bending on these or something. But for now, I think we're going to go ahead and put them where they say so that we can see what we need to do. But you got to have two like this on either side. There's another one. and then you're supposed to flip it over, and then these will go like that on either side. And so we're going to go ahead and put all those on, and then we're going to take it over to the car and then see how bad it is, and then we'll figure out what needs to be changed. But if you have a standard Thunderbird that hasn't been modified, you know, I want you to see, you know, how this is done. So, you know, this is how you would do it. You're going to follow these instructions. You're going to put this bracket on here, that one, just like I just showed you. I'm going to do the same thing so you can see that, but then on mine, my actual install it to the car will be different because I'm a custom situation under the hood. So okay, and it comes with these really small, you know, little screws, because there's a tube that runs up inside here you don't want to puncture, so don't use your own hardware on this. Okay, we got those two brackets on. Then the directions say to take this and flip it over, and then we'll put the other brackets on this side, and then they face going down that way. So all right, I'm going to show you real quick. There's that tube I was telling you about that runs up inside of this. So you have to be real careful. All right, so we figured out we can slide this from the top down on our build. A little tight at first, but it will go down in there. And then, looks like if we set right here, we just let it hang on the radiator, it's pretty much where we want it. So I think what we're going to do up here is, I think we're thinking about taking and weld another bracket that goes on over here and then up here, and then we can screw that to this, and we'll do the same on both sides. We can do the same on both sides. So I think that can solve our mounting on the top side. And then when you go down here, this bracket crosses over this flange here, and we can run another screw on both sides with a spacer between this and this, because this can't be that tight, so that we can get our tubes on here. So we'll have to play a little bit with the spacing, but I think we got it. I think this is going to work. So we're gonna have to put some tubes on here, and then position this where both the tubes that come off of this condenser will fit where they're supposed to go. We also had to make sure we put the this first line on here. That's going to come off of the top side of the condenser, and then it goes right here. Our dryer is going to sit right in here. So, you know, right in this area. This will connect to the dryer, and then your pressure switch will go right here. And then all the wiring for your pressure switch is right here on the compressor. So this fits perfectly. You know, we just need to make sure when we do this, we pull out and give you a better overall view. But when we do this, we just got to make sure we move this condenser side to side where we need it, so that all of these lines that come out of here on either side are where we need them. All right, just back out in the shop. It been down with a cold, so just trying to get back out here. So anyways, I came across this bracket out in my pile, and it looks like I might be able to pull something that I need to make the bracket that's going to go finish the way up to here on both sides to bolt it in. All right, so I got these all set, marked where I can weld them. And, you know, they're not the prettiest things in the world, but they don't have to be because they're not going to be seen. Just put a weld across here. And same here. I can go around like that. There you go. Well, there you go. Looks like we're going to be in business. All right, brackets are all done. And I'm going to go ahead and start securing this line. And I got a clamp here for it. And I'm just going to drill out here through the bracket. And I'm just going to use a little quarter 20 bolt and nut. So let me get this drilled out. All right, we'll put our lock washer and nut on there. And it's going to be a lot tighter fit than I thought. Okay, well, there you go, guys. Clamps on, that line's in, that should slide in with it. And I'm going to go ahead and put the pressure switch on here as well. So let me go get that. There's our pressure switch. Go ahead and get that installed. I think this is going to be a little bit more difficult to try and do this in the car, so let's get it done now. All right, there's a O-ring on there as well, so make sure if you're using this kit, make sure that O-ring's on there. Okay, so I need to space this. I've already secured this other side over here with a spacer, but I need to space this out so I have room to put my line here. And I've just got some of these, I don't even know what you call them, but nylon, I suppose, spacers that I had just sitting around. I'm going to go ahead and then run a self-tapper right through there, and we'll have the radiator secured. All right, and we'll just put our spacer in here. There we go. There we go. We are installed. All right, I think we're gonna stop here for the day. I'm still not feeling very good from this cold, whatever it is I got. So I'm gonna go in, try to get a little bit extra rest, and we'll be back out here again tomorrow. Try to wrap the rest of this up. All right, back out here. So we've done everything up to this point, and so they want us to locate the dryer, the mounting bracket, the pressure switch, and then the two lines that go on all of that. And that is this setup right here. So the dryer, there's a bracket that mounts it. There's this line, which we've already got in. And then there's this short line that comes up and sneaks out the front. And then there's this longer line that comes down and hooks to the bottom of the condenser. So we got our O-ring on here, got it lubed. And just let's get O-rings And they gave a little bit of a lube for them. So all right, we got the dryer. Well, guys, it doesn't say one way or the other on this, so I'm guessing this is a bi dryer. You know, goes both ways. All right, let's see what we got. And then this is our mounting bracket for it. And that will slide, if I can get it. Come on. Wow. More out of the way. There we go. Ow. Well, here we are, guys. So, we went away from these really shorties here because they're just too short to get through the two thicknesses of metal on here and to get any bite into the condenser. And what we did was we hooked all the tubes up. So what we had to do is I got some longer screws, and we were able to make sure that they stayed away from the tube right here. And then we just pushed this whole system as far as we could get it over and get into those holes. I think I'm going to go ahead now, tighten those three up. I also went ahead and got the pressure switch installed so I can start working on the wiring for that. All right, well, there you go. The dryer is in. I'm just going to snug up those lines. And then we can start running our big pressure lines that go over to the air handler and all that inside there. So, okay, so we got this tube here that needs to go on. And that is going to go, let me find it. Right. Okay, so right there is the top of the condenser. And then, there we go. This is just going to go down and into there. And then it'll go right onto there, and then it comes right out here. All right, let's just start underneath here. All this is in now and tight. And then if you come up here, we've got the switch down there. You see it, we got it wired in. It goes off to this is the switch wire, which goes off to the computer and then to the compressor. Routes here, and then the cap goes on just like that. And then if you look here, we got a clamp that I put in right there. That will snap into. We got this bracket in here and got a clamp on here, so this tube's clamped and held. So we got all of the tubes in and the lines here, so let's just walk through the routing. It's not terrible. I was thinking it was going to be a lot worse than it is. Anyway, you got your first line that goes from this line here that comes straight off of the condenser. Goes up to the compressor. Just a little short run, nothing unusual about that. Then you got the other side comes off here. And this one here kind of was, took us a while to kind of figure out how we wanted to route it, but we got this brass bracket that's going to go here with this brace. So once we put that on, that will tuck up underneath it and stay away from our linkage over here. That was kind of a problem. We couldn't shoot it down there or around there. It kept getting in the way of the linkage. Anyway, so we got this figured out. I think we got a good solution there. This will be tucked up and hidden, a good portion of the way, about halfway down. Then it'll come out. But all in all, that's not bad. And then on this side, this line comes off, and it really does well and meets up with the heater core lines. Comes in, darts down up underneath and tightens up here. So all in all, it did not add to the clutter of the engine bay as near as bad as I thought it would. Now I've got a lot of decluttering to do. We've got to wrap all this, get this multicolor stuff out of it, hidden, wrapped and put away and hidden. We'll do that as much as we can along the firewall, and throughout here we'll try to get it as clean as we can. But it's like trying to stuff an elephant in pantyhose. So there's a lot of crap in this engine bay, just a lot of stuff. And then by adding an aftermarket AC, that didn't help. Adding an EFI system that added more clutter didn't help. So
oversized radiator.
Yeah, we got an oversized radiator in here. I mean, there's a lot of stuff kind of packed in here along the way, and it's my fault. I take the blame. I wanted all this stuff. Oh, well. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get all of these lines tightened up, and then when we get it all done, I'll give you guys a last peek, and we'll call this done. All right. We're done here for the day. All the lines have their O-rings. They've been tightened down. So the system is essentially installed. And all I have to do is, when I tighten up the engine bay area, and get it all routed and looking nice, all this will be a part of that as far as the final, getting all that, tied up and routed where I want it. So that is the conclusion of the AC. It's in. I got to go take it down and get it charged once I get this on the road, and we'll make sure we don't have any leaks at that point. Anyway, there you go. This will be a lot easier job, just so you guys know. If you have a original factory condition car, it's but mine's custom, and so it did create a few problems. They weren't hard to get around, but it did create some problems. So I think we're gonna call it. I think we're gonna end this video here. It's the end of the week. I got sick the first part. It just didn't turn out to be a very good week, but we got a lot done. And so we're going to wrap this, and then when we're done, we'll come back and we're going to start on the engine bay, see if we can't get that tightened up, looking good, so we can start getting some skins on this thing. We got two fenders that need to go on. We got a hood that needs to go on, and fender, bumper rather. So that'll be where we go from here. All right. I'll see you guys on the next one.